It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Harry on the top. Right hand from my great double tap.
Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way.
And welcome in. It's InGame Live Prime Time on a wonderful Wednesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, rocking the old Montreal Expos. How about that uniform number? I'm trying to figure out, did we miss something? Is something going on today? Maybe someone making a comeback? Did Johnny Cueto pitch for the Montreal Expos? Because I can't believe he's actually pitching tonight. I thought it was his son, Dave. I'm looking down the rundown, and I see Jay Cueto, right? I'm thinking, it's Johnny Cueto's kid is pitching. And I hit the icon, and I realize it's actually 99-year-old Johnny Cueto. So we got that, and as the saying goes, a broken clock is right twice a day, as the White Sox actually find a way to win today. So what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm good. I didn't know what to wear because we've done the show now Monday, Tuesday, and now it's Wednesday. So wonderful Wednesday. And, I wore the Boston stuff, tried that. They blow it in the bullpen. And then I come on what I wear yesterday, Astro stuff.
Astros.
And, the Red Sox won. So I said, all right, what am I going to wear today? Because they're not playing. I don't know what to do. We'll see. I said, you know what? We'll remain neutral. Everybody loves the Expo stuff. I can't find anybody that goes, man, that looks terrible. Like between the hat and the jersey, this is the one that says Montreal. I still am looking for the one that blue one that says Expos with the thing. But this always wins, no matter what. And it's always a winner here on InGame Live. So went with this tonight.
Yeah. It's funny. I went to a Red Sox game when I was on vacation 2 weeks ago, and you go outside Fenway Park, and they go all these concession stands, and you walk in some of some big buildings, sell everything, right? And there was Montreal Expo stuff there. I mean, here we are. What has it been? 30 years since they've been the Montreal Expos, right? At least, right? They're right around there, 30 years or so, 35, and they're still selling Montreal Expo stuff. It really is amazing. You're right. I mean, I've never heard anyone say like, "Oh, that's ugly" or "That's stupid," or I don't know if it's the red, white, and blue, or I don't know what, but people love the Expos logo and everything else.
They love it, and it literally everywhere you go. And like somebody asked me today, I was down at Circa, seeing some people, and the one guy saw me and said, "Hey, you from Montreal?" I said, "No, I wear the stuff." I'm going to be on SportsGrid later. Oh, yeah, really? Okay. So hopefully got him to download the app. He said he would watch it. Red, white, and blue always works, even in the Expos. Yep. Does red, white, and blue work for the Cubs tonight against the Tigers, Wetzel? Because I don't know. This is every time Brisky starts, I get nervous if I have the Tigers. I don't really want the Tigers. This line has plummeted from the overnight. It seems so obvious that you're supposed to take the Cubs. But then you go, nah, I can't do it. I can't lay a price with the Cubs. Any thoughts on this one?
You know, we'll do what we did yesterday. We gave out a winner, right? What did we say? We said, you know what, just take the under. You know, you don't want to take the Tigers. You can't lay the big wood with the Cubs, right? They were minus 160, 65 or so favorites, right? So we said, go with the under, and it came in. So you know what? As the saying goes, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Looking for the over-under now. I think it's 7.5. It's not big, but 7.5. They're just underway. Give me the now they pumped it to 8.5. Maybe someone hit a home run, but I'll still take the 8.5. Under 8.5 Cubs Tigers. That's the way to go for me.
Okay. Under only. I think you're thinking right. Trying to find a reason to take a side, can't do it, and it's a leadoff double. That's why it jumped up. Yeah, so
right.
It's crazy. I mean, if you like under 7.5, you really like under 8.5. That run doesn't necessarily have to score. So. But if you think it's going to score, wait, right? Because it could lead to a bigger amount of runs and a higher total. So just wait. If you think that run's going to score, don't bet it over yet, or bet it under now if you think it's not going to score. So good look.
Kansas City and the LA Angels and Liz Johnny Cueto pitching. Now, he's not as old as I say. You know, he's like 36, I think he is. Just seems like he's been around forever. Pitching for the Angels. Once pitched for the Kansas City Royals if you want to play a little hunch. But the number I came up with, now the Angels did win last night, but the number I came up with today, the Royals are 22-4 their last 26 home games against losing teams. That's pretty good. Now, the Royals are good, you know, at home, but they really are good against bad teams. So I think last night's an anomaly. You know, Michael Lorenzen pitching for KC. He's just okay. But I'll take my chances that they're not going to lose 2 or 3 to the Angels. So give me Kansas City tonight.
Well, you're not the only one that thinks that. The producers are on this one. Producers pick tonight on the run line, because they can never just pick the money line. The producers love the run line. The kids love the run line, Wetzel. It's fine. It works. It doesn't mean it's going to lose. You just take a little bit bigger risk as far as winning by 1 now doesn't win you the bet. But plus money's always good. And between Matty G and Vincenzo, they like the Royals. I couldn't believe it's Johnny Cueto either. I went
38.
When I saw that,
it's 38, not 36. I said 36.
Well, it feels like you'd have to, like, 48. If it was at the Little League World Series, would be checking the birth certificate if you told me it was 38.
Yeah.
I'd have said 40.
Danny Almonte.
Correct.
Danny Almonte? Yeah.
Me and you are the only two people right now that know who Danny Almonte was. But yes, Google Danny Almonte, you'll get that story. There's nothing you could say to me to say back the Angels tonight. It's either a Royals or pass. I don't want to be the guy that bets on the Angels tonight and goes, "Yep, I bet on Johnny Cueto today." This is he's coming back pitching, filling some innings for the Angels here in the back end of the season. Nah, I'm good, bro. That's good. We'll go Royals or nothing. Let's get the producers pick in tonight. Every time the Royals score a run, Vinny's going to hit the goal horn. We'll let the people know as the Royals crank it up.
All right, there you go. The producers pick plus 106. Wait, I think it's been. I think the last time Johnny Cueto pitched, which was in 2023, is the last time a producers pick won. So hopefully, maybe there's a little symmetry there. You know?
Won yesterday.
I don't even remember using what was the producers pick yesterday? I don't remember that. Do you remember what? Padres money line?
Yeah.
Did that hit the air? I don't know if that hit the air. If it doesn't hit the air, it doesn't count. It did? All right.
It absolutely.
I must have been swatting away my buddy who just came back again.
Oh no!
Milwaukee
again, please.
Milwaukee, St. Louis, just underway. I think the boys in Vegas, as I was telling Casey in Game Time Decisions, dyslexia is kicking in. I think they got it backwards. They got St. Louis's favorites here. St. Louis is in a funk. They're 5-12 their last 17, including 1-7 their last 8. They can't win at home. Milwaukee, get a load of this, Dave. 8 straight wins as a road underdog for the Brewers. They play well on the road. 7 games over 500 on the road. St. Louis only 2 games over 500 at home. I actually like Milwaukee at even odds with this one.
I thought St. Louis when I looked at the number, but I keep looking to go against Milwaukee for some reason. I don't know if that's one of my teams in my blind spot, but I went, I get the play here on St. Louis. It feels a little more comfortable. It closed around minus 110, minus 112. In-game number right now is, minus 160. That one doesn't feel as good, Wetzel. I'm not crazy about laying 160, but at least we're hitting here in the bottom of the second and have a runner on with nobody out. So play it if you're going to play it now, because if they score, price goes up. In fact, I just hit refresh and it did the minus 180. So you better bet the Cardinals right now. Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah, something's going on. Pretty good matchup. We got to take a break here, but Phillies and Atlanta Braves, bottom of the third. Braves winning yesterday 3-1, and apparently they got the bases loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. And something tells me they didn't score because they got it as pick'em right now. And if that was even with 2 outs, I think they would be more than just pick'em. So
pretty good.
5.5 is your total. So, all right, whole slew of other games. We'll get to them all when we come back in Game Live, Prime Time.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad spot.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Day Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got a full slate of baseball games. We got some this afternoon, but still enough to keep us busy for the next 2 hours. We got a busy slate of guests as well, giving us some baseball winners. We'll preview the NFC East tonight as we try and take on one division each night, try and find some over-under winners and different winners for the upcoming football season. So Mark Zinno will join us at the bottom of the hour, do some baseball, football with him. We got Eric Lindquist, betting analyst for Stokastic.com, Oddshopper.com, and then our good buddy Dubsy Anderson. We'll do a little golf with Cam on vacation this week, so Dubsy stepping in and give us our golf picks for the upcoming weekend. I haven't spoken to him in a little bit. See him all the time on Twitter, though, so it'd be good to chat with Dubsy, right? So.
Oh yeah,
I
already did a little background with Dubsy. I told him, we're going to bring him in. It's not going to be like getting in the ring or getting in the octagon with us, but he's been gone for far too long, so we may rough him up a little bit. He's been working on leg day and doing everything else, and it's a big week for the golf, as they head toward the final one next week. So 50 guys, pick his brain a little bit with that and, hear about his trip to Australia. You went to Australia. Have you ever been to Australia?
No. I've never been I've been to Mexico just when I used to went to school at UTEP. But does that count as out of the country? I've not been out of the continent. How about that?
Okay, have you been to Canada?
Oh, yeah, you have. Yes. I did play-by-play. I had to think, just for an hour or two at the local, joint. We were doing play-by-play of a game at Buffalo, old college here, Hofstra's. So we crossed the border, saw the Niagara Falls. I saw that, and then we went to a couple of establishments, we'll say, over in Toronto that they don't have in Buffalo. So
correct.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay, so you went international up north, our friends up in Canada, and you went to Mexico. That's good. No, I've never been to Australia. I've been to multiple islands in the Caribbean, almost all of them, at least once. I highly recommend it. You should go sometime. It's fantastic. I actually lived down there for almost 2 years, in the Caribbean, in Curacao and Dominican Republic. I was there for about a month. It's eye-opening. I learned a lot about life in addition to this business, so it was fun. You would kill it down there. You on the beach and stuff in the Caribbean. Oh, you a big beach guy?
Yeah. I live on Long Island, and I've been to the beach. I live on Long Island about 20 years. Give and take a trip back to Chicago for 7 years, 25 years. I've been there like maybe 5 times. Does that make me a beach guy?
No, you're not a beach guy. I'd be there every week. You 5 times total in 20 years?
Yeah, I'm more a lake guy. I'm more a get the fishing pole, throw it into the water, sit on the boat, little rowboat. That's more me. The sand and the beach. Down here on the island, you got to walk a mile literally to the beach. You park your car and you have to walk, maybe not a mile, but I bet it's a half a mile before you finally get to the freaking beach. Yeah, the ocean. It's a mile, half a mile of sand. It's then you get back to your car and you're sweating, you're sanding. That's never been. No,
it's good training. It's good. That's good training for the legs. You should probably do that. I know.
Yeah.
Tonight's slate, all these games are going on, and Arizona Miami was an overplay. Monday was an overplay again. Yesterday it didn't go over. It hit Monday. And I don't know what just happened while we were talking about the beach and the travels, but it's now 6-3, right?
Yeah.
Marlins over.
Yep.
So that worked out. That's good. Are you watching the Stankies tonight?
Yeah, 7-0 now.
Cruising.
Yeah. Although with their bullpen, they're more than capable of blowing that. If you wanted to take, the Guardians plus 7.5, they're not offering you a money line. Interesting, they're only offering you 10.5 for the over. You got 7 runs. It's only the 5th inning. In fact, it's only the top of the 5th inning. They're not going to get 4 more runs,
light.
whether it's the Yankees or the Guardians. I like that.
That's a little light. Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So
is he pitching a no-hitter or something? No, 1 hit. 1 hit for Cleveland so far into the 5th. So
how many pitches? For Cortez? And he's not any good anyway, Cortez, right?
Whoa.
6-10.
What?
Well, 58 pitches. He'll be in there for a little while. Yeah, they've lost his last 6 home starts. There was a time where he was unbeatable at home, mediocre on the road. Now it's kind of like the other way around, but they've lost his last 6 home starts. So that 10.5, I think they're falling asleep at the wheel of that one. I'm going to grab that right now. I like that.
They're not losing.
Nah, they're not going to lose, but they'll have to sweat a little bit.
How about the Nationals and the Rockies? A game that nobody wants to watch or talk about, but we could certainly bet on. Something there you could take. Just hit refresh. Take 6.5 plus. Oh no, minus 130, and then 8.5 is the total. Ooh, minus 120 to the over, and that's only. I mean, that's 6-0 in the 5th. No, bottom of 6.
We got a lot of blowouts tonight.
Woo! Yeah. This is when we get put to the test.
Yeah, this is when you really got to do your digging. I know someone that gave out over Colorado or over Washington team total basically last night. You know, they only got one run. You know, and naturally tonight's the night that they get the 6 runs. So I can see that person being like, should have gone right back to the well. Maybe they did. I don't know. But 10-0 Minnesota. We got 6-0 Washington. 7-0 Stankies. Even the Marlins 6-3. Bottom of the 5th inning. I would take a flyer on Arizona 5-1, or give me 2.5 runs plus 102 odds. I would do that.
Okay.
I'm okay. And that's 12.5. They're giving you only 12.5. You know, 4 more runs in the 5th inning. I like that one too. You know.
What
Nice
about Toronto
run
against Cincinnati 6-2? Joey Votto retired today. How didn't they let him go back out for one more time?
Did he really?
How did they not let him go back out? He retired today. Yeah.
I didn't even know he was. I thought he had retired. Yeah, Hall of Famer. Yeah.
I don't know.
Think so. No. Nah.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, PrimeTime here on the grid. It's kind of getaway day in Major League Baseball. Today and tomorrow, some of these things are tough. Some of these teams, as we're seeing tonight, boy, they just don't want to show up. They're not here to play. But I know a team that will be here to play. So say the odds and trends, and they are the subject of our SGP Same Game Parlay. All right, clearly with the White Sox winning this afternoon, this is a day where maybe what's supposed to happen won't necessarily happen. So with that in mind, our SGP, we're going to go out to L.A., Dodgers and Seattle Mariners, and we're going to grab the Mariners tonight. How about that? Plus 152 or so, depending on where you do your shopping. Why? Let's make a case. We'll start with them. 12-4. Last 16 interleague games against winning teams, even though they did drop the first 2 in the series. But last 10 times they dropped the first 2 games of a series, 8-2 in game 3. They don't get swept. Say what you want about it, but they don't get swept very often. And then, a little goofy one, Dodgers 0-6 their last 6 games on Wednesday. So let's take a flyer on Seattle. We're going to go over 2.5 runs. I used this one for Sharapan on that Wednesday one. We're going to go over 2.5 runs because the last 13 Seattle wins, they scored 3 runs or more. So we'll go over 2.5 minus odds. We're going to go Julio Rodriguez get an RBI at plus 195. Now, he's not had that many RBIs this month. One, to tell you the truth, but he's got hits in 6 of his last 7 games. So he's, turning it on a little bit. And then we're going to use Logan Gilbert over 5.5 strikeouts. That one you might want to play separately, Dave, because he's had 6 strikeouts or more in 10 of his last 12 games. And they're giving us 5.5 tonight. And that's not an adjusted line. That's his real line. Maybe you can go 6, slight odds if you want to go plus or over 6.5 or 5.5. But you see, it's not it's not heavily juiced there. So anyway, add it all up, and we got a nice little 7-1 or so parlay, depending on again when you do your shopping. What do you think?
It's pretty good, actually. The Walker Buehler thing got us yesterday, huh? He didn't get the strike. Yeah. Otherwise, Ohtani got a hit. Everything else, I think, was good. It worked out. The Seattle thing is interesting. You threw me off with that, having them on the plus. That was good. So they lost 8 of the last 9 road games, and we're taking them. And the Dodgers have lost 0-6 on the last 6 Wednesdays. The Mariners did this in Pittsburgh. In the interleague matchup, lost the first 2 games and won game 3, but it was Sunday. Flaherty looked really good.
Logan Gilbert, pretty good.
He's not
pitched well.
Charter member
with the Dodgers
of the fan club. I love that. I love that. I'm a charter member of the Logan Gilbert fan club. No question. I like to bet him under, bet the game under. I mean, when he pitches, first 5 under. And his K prop over. You said it. What is it? 10 or 12? So
right, 10 or 12. Yeah.
The sweat here may be the Mariners. Maybe that plus. It may right. Like, did you entertain even plus 1.5?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
Maybe should have. I didn't even entertain it. So it's not like I thought about it. Said, nah, what? I just said
that's fine.
I'm going to go Mariners win, but it's probably not a bad idea. Okay. Can I change it?
Well, I mean, you can change it. I don't think it's going to affect the odds as much as you think. It's nice to put in the plus 152, but the power of taking a 1.5 with them, it won't affect it as much. It's probably minus 120. I didn't even look what the number was, but it's probably plus a 1.5, minus 120, minus 130 tops. So, not a bad move. Just in case in a game with 2 pitchers, right? Like this, low scoring, you get the team total over. Got a shot. We'll watch it.
Let me see if I can get the. Why Logan 5.5 minus 136? Right, that's 10-2 of getting 6 strikeouts or more. That's a peculiar little.
It's the Dodgers lineup. It's the Dodgers lineup. I think you have to adjust because it's the Dodgers lineup. 1, they make you see more pitches. 2, you may not go like Walker Buehler last night with the K prop only went 4 innings. It's hard to get that number of strikeouts if you don't pitch at least 5. Maybe 6 innings.
All right. I got 3 legs in, and it's already 5-1. You might be right with the 1.5.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
That's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about
Not a bad spot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. Real quickly, I did put the 1.5 run line in, and it dropped at about 150 points from plus 720, we'll say 715 to plus 573. So either one's not too bad. The goal is to get up to around 5 to 6 to 1. So if you want to use that rather than take Seattle to win outright, figure it'd be a low-scoring game. That might be the way to go. So. We'll get Mark Zinno's thoughts on Seattle and the Dodgers and all the other games that are on the board. Maybe some football talk with Mark as well. What's going on, Mark? How are you today, bud?
Gentlemen, it's a beautiful Wednesday. Great to be with you. Love you rocking the old Montreal Expos stuff there, Dave. It's quality.
Yeah, this is one of my throwbacks. That's Vladdy Guerrero jersey. Everybody likes the Expo hat. Before we get started on the current stuff or the night stuff, because there's really only 2 games, are there any sports books that are offering Mark Zinno triple props? Because I really want to bet it. I mean, we sat down in Vegas last week. The boys put together a nice little graphic. Papa Zinno took a great picture of us. That was awesome. Did you really hit a triple in the game?
Yeah.
Is that's real?
That
how are your
actually
legs?
Right. Legs feel good. I caught all 9 innings, and 2 for 4 was a good night. 2 RBIs. We won, I think, 6-3. So it was a good night. I mean, listen, you still got to stay young at heart, right? I mean, I play in this 25 and over men's league. All these kids are half my age. They're 15 years younger than me, and I'm still hanging around with them, staying young. As long as I can still hang in there and play, I'm okay. So yeah, last night my first triple since the Bush administration. Which Bush, I don't really know.
This hardball or softball?
It's hardball. Men's league, good bat men's league.
Baseball, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I can't do softball. I can't.
Me neither.
It's just called quits in
Never
life.
good.
I can't even try to hit a softball. You swing too hard. You pop it up. It's just timing is all bad. It hurts my arm to throw a softball because it's so much bigger. So I probably will never graduate to beer league softball. I'll probably just hang it up, period.
Yeah. All right, we're talking Mariners and Dodgers. We might as well start there. I actually like Seattle tonight, Mark. Any thoughts on Dodgers and Mariners tonight?
I don't blame you. I mean, look, my skepticism here is this. Logan Gilbert's very good. Obviously, every Seattle Mariners pitcher is better at home than they are on the road. That's number one. So, number two is that this is just an offense you can't trust. They just simply can't score. Usually games when they do, they score 8 or 9, and then they go the next 3 scoring 1 or 2, and it's just you're asking them to do something they're not accustomed to doing against a plus starter. Now, the thing is, Jack Flaherty, since he came over from Detroit, the last two starts when he faced good lineups, he wasn't that great. I think the first start he had was against the A's and he dominated them. But the last two starts been pretty mediocre and average. It's just how much do you think that the Mariners can get to him? He hasn't faced the Mariners this year yet when he was in the American League. So, that kind of gives maybe even a little bit more advantage to Flaherty. I mean, I would only play this first five just from the simple premise that if Seattle ain't leading early, they're probably not leading late. If they're not getting ahead early, they're probably not going to score late. They've got to get on top and play with a lead. And if they can give Gilbert a lead, they should be good here. First five money line spot wouldn't be bad if it's only 1-1 or whatever. You keep the tie in your back pocket, especially with Gilbert, Seattle being an underdog here. You're going to get some decent value in the first five. But waiting this lineup out for 9 at-bats, if they get down 3 or 4 runs, it's like, you just got to get lucky to get back in it.
Yeah, it's tough. You mentioned the A's, and this feels like a tough game, almost like forcing a play. If you like one side or the other, Mark, which one is it? And there anything there with the total even? Like, this is a really hard game. I don't feel strong about either side or total.
I took Ray's first five here. Back in Pepio, he's been very good. His last 7 starts, he's allowed 2 runs or less, and he's got it to 5 innings in 5 of those 7. So they're going up against Spence of Oakland, who's average at best. Oakland has a major bullpen advantage in this game, which is the one reason why I don't want to get involved, for a full game here. If Tampa, and these first 2 games have been pretty low scoring, so I wouldn't surprise to see a bunch of runs here. But from that standpoint, again, if Tampa's not going to get a lead by 5 against the A's bullpen, which is, 6th or 7th in baseball in bullpen ERA, I don't like them to get back in it late. So I went Rays first 5 money line here, laid a little bit extra juice at around -132, and I feel pretty comfortable.
Any games that are going on that you liked or like right now?
Yeah,
anyway?
I was on Brewers first 5 money line as well. Again, Cardinals have the edge in the bullpen. Trying to fade Kyle Gibson here, who's only given up 3 hits through the first 3 innings. I'm hopeful that Gibson, whose ERA is close to 7 at home, opposing hitters are batting .301 against him at home this year, and of course the Brewers haven't scratched a run across. But again, given the Cardinals' edge in the bullpen, it's one of those things where if the Brewers didn't get out early, and this is a team statistically this year, guys, that against righties on the road, top 10 in runs scored, batting average and OPS. So they can hit the ball against righties on the road, not against lefties. They're terrible against lefties. And that was the reason why I just kept it with Kyle Gibson, hoping they were going to get to him early. Obviously, they haven't. I got 2 more at-bats to do it. But again, with the money line, I can keep the push in my back pocket.
We're going to talk about the NFC East, and, we're going to ask you, and we got Lindquist on later. We'll talk to him about that too. But how do you feel about, I don't know if you've heard, but like the same team doesn't win the division since like 2003.
18 years in a row, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things that like, all right, so you can rule out Dallas. There's a lot going on in Philly. It can't possibly be either one of those other 2 teams, right? Like, is it Philly winning the division? Pretty much a wrap?
It could be Washington. It could be Washington. Look, I would take a flyer on them to win the division, and here's why. If Jaden Daniels pops the way Lamar did, if he's able to do things with his legs that teams just can't scheme for, there's not tape on him, so they don't know. The college tape doesn't count, right? It's a completely different game, so there's nothing they can go with. They're completely unprepared for a quarterback who can throw the ball and run, and they don't have a lot of ways to look at him. And if Dan Quinn can elevate this defense, look what he's done everywhere he's been. Within the first year or 2, he's got a defense on track. Now, Washington gave away some of their pass rushes and trades with Chase Young and Montez Sweat and all the other stuff, but this is still a guy who knows how to turn chicken, what, in a chicken salad when it comes to bad defenses. He's done that everywhere he's been. So if he can fix the defense and Jaden Daniels can make some plays, it's not totally out of the realm of possibility for Washington to sneak in this thing if Dallas and Philly falter. I mean, in reality, there's a lot of questions around Dallas. And when your head coach and your quarterback are having public feuds, that's a bad sign. It's hard for me to trust that they're going to put it all together. Can they? Sure. They absolutely could put it all together, Philly. And they could be a very good team and make a very deep run in the playoffs. But also, it could go off the rails pretty quickly like it did last year. And if they get off to a bad start and they're losing games and they're having issues early, guess what? It might not ever get back on track. So, it's a spot here where the Commanders may be the benefactor of some turmoil in Philadelphia and Dallas, and because the Giants are just god-awful.
Giants numbered is 6.5. Little juice to the under, 142. But is that team going 7-10? I don't think so. What about you, Mark?
they could go 7-10 in maybe the ACC. That's in the East Coast.
I don't even think dare.
I'm not sure there. I mean, what are you relying on here? Is Daniel Jones going to put it all back together? I don't know. Is Malik Neighbors enough to generate some more offense? Maybe. It's still a really weak, questionable offensive line, with the exception of a couple players on the defensive line. I've said this all offseason. Tell me a position group where you put the Giants in the top 10, and I'll wait for you to figure out an answer, because I don't think there is one. There's not a position group where you go, that is a top 10 position group. They can rely on this. They can rely on stopping the run. They can rely on their secondary. They don't have any of that. And you're with a coach now who's going to be fighting for his job if they get off to a slow start.
Wow. That was a really good case for going under their season wins. Real quick, first game in Brazil, Eagles, Packers. Any thoughts in 10 seconds?
I am not as high on Jordan Love and the Packers as everybody else is. I need to see more than 8 games. So until I see that happen, I'm going to be very skeptical of Green Bay.
Yeah, me too. Mark, great job as always. We'll do it again soon, no doubt. Best of luck with your bets tonight.
Stretch. A lot of stretching.
Yeah. First base, get catch.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad math. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter, because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead, because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, PrimeTime on the grid. We do have one big comeback. We had nothing but blowouts to talk about. So, but we do have one, and it just goes to show that no matter how big the score is, it's never over. And that is the Toronto Blue Jays. Unfortunately, it's not Cleveland. That would have been nice, but it is the Blue Jays who were leading, I think 6-2, 6-1, 6-2 over Cincinnati, and the feisty Reds that never give up Reds have tied it now at 6-6 as they play top of the fifth inning, and you got an over-under of 16.5, and now Cincinnati's actually favored because they got a couple of more runners on base. So I would say, do you see another one? We talked about it. Could Cleveland come back and make a game of it? Colorado down 6-1. That was 6-0. Padres scored to make it 10-1 versus 10-0 like it was.
Yeah.
And the Diamondbacks are still down 6-3 heading to the top of the seventh inning. That would be the one just because it's the closest. And you're probably getting, the better team versus the worst team, Arizona. But
can Arizona score one more run? I mean, it's 2.5. Plus 2.5 is plus money right now here. I got it plus 120. The other one says plus 115. Total's 11.5. Overs plus 125. Worthy of a shot, I think, down in Miami, that the Diamondbacks at least score one more against that bullpen. Wow, The Reds are going to break open the game if they get a big 2-out base hit. The Phillies and the Braves, that was an under with that pitching matchup, and that is now down to 5.5. Wetzel, do you want under 5.5? It went under last night, 3-1 final. You can go under 5.5, and oh boy, juice is going to move. It's minus 160. That's going to be minus 170, minus 180. As soon as we get the first out, oh, there it is. Yeah, it's changing right now. So a little late
when
to
do
the party.
Flip
You got to
it?
be fast. Yeah.
How big a juice? Like in this case, it's 5.5, right? So what does it get to? Like 2-1 before they say, all right, make it 4.5. What's the highest they'll go generally?
So you see it now with FanDuel. They're going higher when they're on numbers like that, right? They'll juice it up to minus 250, minus 260. I think the threshold to flip the number is closer to 3. Whereas like last year when we were doing this, it was just over 2. Like 2 would be the top, or minus 220, and then it would move the number from 5.5 to 4.5 and flip the juice. But they're keeping the number a little bit longer and making you pay more to go under the better number. I mean, if you're trying to go under 4.5 or under 5.5, obviously you want to go under 5.5. Well, the book knows that too. So could get up to minus 280 before we see it.
Wow.
Or to 4.5.
Yeah, that's where they make more money, right? I mean, they make, forget about how many more people bet. That's I guess debatable. But as far as like making money, they want to have you lay odds, rather than go to 4.5 in this case at even odds, right? They want you to take the 5.5, at minus 280, hoping you lose, right?
Anytime you can get bets at higher juice, bigger minuses, you take the bet. Like there's no, if they were going to lay $2, but they got to lay minus 250, yes, that's what the intention of the book is to do. You'd rather have more juice on a number than maybe change the number. Like pregame, it's okay. We could change the number, not so much in baseball totals. Those baseball totals are painted on the board or in cement. You really don't want to get off of an 8.5 and go to 8 or go to 9 too much because you can get sided. The baseball numbers, because there's less, as opposed to an NBA game where you can make it 216 and take a limit bet over and make it 218 and then take a limit bet over and make it 220. More points, you can move the number, the total. Less points or runs or goals, like in hockey, you don't move the number, you move the juice.
Was there an epiphany moment that some handicapper went to one of these books or, a worker like yourself and just said, why are we moving it from 7.5 to 8? Why don't we just make it 7.5, but now minus 130 or 140? Like did someone have this epiphany moment? Because I don't remember this as a kid. I really don't. I mean, I remember it at minus 110, right? That was it. Maybe minus 120, but that's it. Now, so was there any kind of crazy moment in the world of Vegas? Is there like a statue of the guy, like Christopher Columbus? Here's the guy that suggested make it minus 145. He's our hero.
I don't know if he's anybody's hero. I mean, he might be for some 1 or 2 books, but nobody's happy about paying more for the same product. I mean, ask your cable company, when they raise the bill and nothing changes. So I remember, being a kid and being around guys that were, booking the games or betting the games. And the most you ever paid was, like they used to say, 6-5, right? 6-5 is minus
Right.
120, right? That was,
Right.
so you laid 6-5. But that was the most expensive that anybody could charge. Otherwise, there was another guy, whether it was Billy the Lip and Louie the Lip. Well, Billy would just charge 110 and get all the business on the street. So nobody ever charged more than minus 120. When I was offshore and down there, that's when he really started to play with it. And we had odd screens and you could see what the other guys' prices were. So somebody would say, you know what? I'm tired of I don't want to move to 7.5 to 8 because it's going to fall 8 and I'm going to get sided. I'm going to just leave it 7.5 minus 125 or minus 130. Very rarely, though, can you go more than 130. The in-game number, though, way different. Scott, way, way different. We've seen some crazy juice, crazy on sides and totals and spreads and money lines. I mean, there's some nights we sit here and they move the favorite. They don't move the dog. They just make the favorite bigger. They go from minus 20 to 1 to minus 40 to 1 to minus 50 to 1, and the dog price doesn't correlate. It stays 10 to 1.
Crazy. It's crazy what they do nowadays. It really, But this generation, they're not used to anything else. So, they're not worried about getting guys like you and I guess. They want to get the 20-year-olds and get these guys hooked and just, this is how it is, guys. And that's the norm. So, when really it's not. All right, we'll close that hour number 1 next here in the Grid.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, prime time here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan with a full slate of baseball games, including one that is our Black Cloud Play of the Day. All right, that's kind of a peculiar one, not too strange, but we're going to go to Oakland where the A's are hosting Tampa Bay tonight. We're going to not use Oakland, not use Tampa Bay. We're going to go with the over-under. We're going to take the under there, 7.5 runs. Some pretty good trends. Two halfway decent pitchers, Pepio there and Mitch Spence, 7 and 8 for the A's. We got Tampa Bay, 7 more unders this season than overs. We got Oakland, 11 more unders than overs, so 2 pretty good under teams. We got the Devil Dogs, 7-1 under their last 8 road games, and then we got the A's on a nice fat 8-0 under run in their last 8 home games.
Yeah. What happened there? All right. Well, I don't know what exactly happened to the Black Cloud. Took down Scott, but he'll be back. I actually like this play a lot. I was going to say, I like the, when we were talking to Zinn earlier, I like the game under. I'm not sure about the side. And I was very excited to see the Black Cloud, go under 7.5, which is, some books might have 7. If you don't think a run is going to be scored in the first inning, you have to play this pregame. So the game's, coming up, 6:40 start Pacific, 9:40 Eastern, so you got a little bit of time and watch and follow along with the other games that are going on. But I like it. Yeah, this is good. So, we'll stay here. Black Cloud, play of the night. Tampa and the A's, under 7.5. It's a good number. Sometimes, that odd number, it falls on 7, just like a craps table. It falls on 7 more than any other number. So keep that in mind. Let's spin this through, the games that are going on right now. And let me check the scores here because I got, let's see, the Diamondbacks scored 6-4, top of 7, bases loaded. So we got a shot. We said to take the Diamondbacks plus 2.5. That's a good score for baseball. Let's see if the Diamondbacks come all the way back. Wetzel was on them, at 5-1. No change in Twins Padres. Rockies still trailing 6-1 to the Nationals, top of the 9th. That one looks like that one's going to be a wrap. 7-0 Yankees still, middle to 7th. The Reds have gone ahead of the Blue Jays now. 7-6, bottom of the 5th. And what does that say? Ellie De La Cruz becomes the 5th player in Major League Baseball history to hit 20 home runs and steal 60 bases. I love Ellie De La Cruz. He's really one of the best young players in baseball. Phillies tied up the Braves 2-2, bottom of 6, so that one's live. Cardinals leading the bottom of the 4th. Good score for baseball. We'll have Wetzel back after the break, hopefully, but we got Lindquist coming up, Eric Lindquist coming up, and then we have another guest, Dubsy. We're going to talk about the golf. I don't know about you guys, but it's funny because as the golf gets closer to the playoff, I don't want to say the interest wanes, but the excitement from football really goes up, and the golf is really good, and Dubsy's really good. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned for him. And Lindquist may have some golf too. So it's good when the golf guys, look, they're coming down the 18th fairway. All right. We got this week and next week, and then nothing really to talk about. We could talk about team trends like the Angels and the Royals. That's a game that I think you got to look at. The Royals are already ahead. Let me click refresh here. 2-0. So Royals lead, end of 3. Angels lost 6 of their last 8 games. And we talked about this before. The Royals have been really, really good. 22-4 in their last 26 home games versus losing teams, which the Angels are. So that's that. We'll take a break here coming up shortly. But if you guys are watching the show, we appreciate you guys doing that. Let them know. SportsGrid, download the app. Let me know at SportsBK Consig and also Scott at Office and Picks. So we'll get him up and ready. Come back after the break, and hopefully he'll be fixed and good to go. No gnats, no flies, no bugs, no nothing. Microphone will be working. He'll be looking good. I'll still be here. InGame Live Primetime will still be here. We got another hour left on the show, and a lot of football to discuss. NFC East talk coming up next after the break, right here.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And that's a good point. And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan to believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
And welcome back InGame Live, prime time here on the grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got Dubsy coming up. Do a little golf with him in about a half hour or so. And then Eric Lindquist will join us in about 15 minutes or so. We'll do a little baseball talk with him. So last we left you, Dave, we had 4 blowouts, right? I told you one, Cincinnati actually came all the way back and is now leading Toronto. And now we have another comeback. We were searching for who was going to be the other team if there was. And we both figured maybe Arizona would be the best bet because the Stankies were up big. And then, Minnesota's up really big, 10-1. So little pat on the back. Look at that score. Arizona 7, Miami 6. One's trailing 6-3, maybe even worse than that. Nice fat little 4-1 underdog. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Now they're up 7-6.
It's a up 7-6.
No, but you can hedge. Well, you can hedge. That's all once I make a suggestion and you're in a position now to hedge, now it's on you. Now it's like I gave you a winner. There's your winner. You can hedge now on Miami plus 2-1. If you don't, and Miami comes back and wins, then I don't take that as a loss because the bet we suggested is now winning. Make sense?
Ahead. Yeah, I mean, you have your own record-keeping system. You have your own systems. You have your own plays. That's fine. I'm just glad to see you. I thought you swatted something out, knocked a power line out or something. You disappeared. You're back. It's great to see you. So, yeah, this is good. While you were gone, that happened. The Reds are leading 7-6, but the Blue Jays have runners on. Bases loaded, looks like. I told everybody that the Phillies tied it up 2-2. The Cardinals have taken a 2-0 lead. And, oh, by the way, the Detroit Tigers look like they're up 4-0 in the top of the 4th. So there's another one where we have runs. This is good. This is good. I think this will be a good night to catch Lindquist on because See what the Twins did today? The Twins? Yeah, rolling. Yeah.
Minnesota guys. Let me ask you. We got Kansas City up 2-0, all right, against the Angels in the bottom of the fourth. And we laughed Johnny Cueto's pitching. The 38-year-old Johnny Cueto, who has not pitched this year. This is his first outing since last season. Like, I could understand the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Guardians or some team that's in contention that just needs a starting pitcher. Listen, let's roll the dice with this guy. Let's see what we have. But why would a next to last place team like the Angels? You're telling me you don't have anybody in your farm system? Nobody that you have to bring in Johnny Cueto to your club? I mean, the trade deadline is gone. You can't trade him. I mean, you clear waivers, I suppose. But, so it's not like let's, have 2 or 3 good starts and then we're going to trade him. You can't do that, really. So what is the point of the L.A. Angels? Pitching Johnny Cueto, for goodness sakes.
One, he was probably close by, okay? And then can you imagine he hasn't pitched since last year, and you call him or his agent and say, hey, Johnny, you want to start tomorrow? Where? In Kansas City. What? In the bigs? Sure. Like, it's right. It's got to be much easier, right? And they don't have to pay any service time or anything like that. I mean, you see some names in late August, early September, starting for big league clubs where you're like, wow, I didn't even know that guy was still in the league. It turns out like Johnny Cueto wasn't even in the league. When I told you, when I saw that, I was like, that got to be another one. It can't be the guy that was gone last year. Johnny Cueto moment for me is when he dropped the ball in Pittsburgh. Do you remember that when he was pitching for Cincinnati in the 1-game playoff and the Pirates? Russell Martin was up and they started chanting, Cueto on the mound, and he was holding the ball and he dropped it, and the place went nuts. Like they made Johnny Cueto drop the ball. It was coincidence. But on the next pitch, Russell Martin hit a home run, and it might have been the loudest moment in PNC Park history. It was a blackout night, playoff night, 1-game playoff. And the Pirates, that was the year they won. It was the last time they won a playoff game, and then they ended up losing in the playoffs to the Cardinals. But that is my Johnny Cueto moment, among many. I mean, the pause, the hesitation, the turn on the wind-up, and all the different things. He's fantastic. I mean, and he's a showman. I just know that I don't want anything to do with betting on him tonight.
There's a rumor going around that the White Sox are calling up Bartolo Colon, and he may be pitching tomorrow night for Chicago. So
whoa.
Yeah. He is still pitching somewhere. Yeah, he actually is still pitching somewhere.
He's pitching in a league.
Yeah,
Zeno's
it's a Mexican or Dominican league.
Yeah,
something goofy.
He might be in that. Yeah, he might be in that league with Zeno's, playing in down south.
Yes, exactly. Mark will be facing him tomorrow night. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
See if he gets a triple off him.
The White Sox are off tomorrow, mercifully, so we don't have to worry about the White Sox starting tomorrow. Them winning today was big. That took down a lot of money line parlays for the book, right? Everybody had the Giants today. You had the Black Cloud yesterday. It won again. Giants run line. They lose today. That just kind of sets off all the day game and the night game parlays. The book is pretty happy with that result.
That is really the quintessential, this is what you do, right? If you bet the White Sox money line game number 1 of this series, you lost. You bet them game number 2 money line, you lost. You bet them game number 3, you won. And they were such big dogs that, you won a couple of shekels. Not a lot, but they were over 2-1 underdogs again today. Correct. So 1 out of 3, and you won money. I mean, if they won games 1 or 2, you probably could stop. But at least, that's how you got to bet series. Just say, all right, I'm just going to kind of bet that they don't get swept. That's all. Just got to win one dopey time.
Once you accept that you're going to lose a lot more tickets, that you do that, you have to just accept it. I mean, nobody saw a record-breaking number of losses, but you knew the White Sox were going to be a bad team. You bet against the bad teams, you have to know that you're going to go – you're going to lose a lot more bets than you're going to win, but the amount of shekels is positive. So that works pretty good.
Yeah. So So Kansas City 2-0 over Cueto and the Angels. So they're minus 950. Oof. I mean, some of these numbers are just like if you're an underdog player in baseball, wow. Even the NBA too. Like the early deficits, 10-point deficits. Boy, you make a ton. I mean, we've done it enough. You get a team down 10 points in the first quarter of an NBA game, and all of a sudden you're getting like 3.5 to 1. Like 10 points in an NBA game is nothing, especially the first quarter.
Oh, the NBA is the most volatile and most fun thing to do with the in-game live because it's not.
Yeah.
The runs are crazy, and there's different opportunities to buy in, and then like you like to say, make hedge bets. There's all kind of things. I got a buddy, Chris Mack. He's in Pittsburgh. He likes to bet in-game hockey. We talk about that all the time. The baseball, I think you got to be very, you got to pick your spots, right? Because there's less runs scored in games, especially in the back half of the game.
Yeah. I don't trust these bullpens, so I like doing it in the back half. Yeah. Very tough. Yanks scored again, 8-0 now. I need one more run. I got over 8.5. I put that in before. Somebody's over-under. You're not getting the runs in the back half. 9-6 Cincinnati. Wow.
Wow.
Blue Jays that's why you're the Blue Jays. You blow a 6-2 lead at home, no less. How about Braves and Phillies 2-2? That's 4 runs. They're giving a 6.5 bottom of the 7th. We got to wait for that to flip to 5.5, right? That's the goal. Get that down to 5.5 into the 8th, right?
I don't know.
Even money, too.
We got to sweat this extra inning thing now. This comes into play, right? The tie game. I don't know what to do.
We got to monitor that. So,
right.
All right, Eric Lindquist, Scorecastic.com, oddshopper.com, coming up next.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about
20. Not a math. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time on the grid on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Things picking up just a little bit more as the Guardians scored a run. So now they only trail 8-1, but we had the over 8.5. So that's another winner that Dave and I gave out. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So speaking of winners, Minnesota Twinkies, I don't know. Must be because Eric is on tonight. He's from Minnesota, big Twins fan, Teacups fan, everything else. I imagine North Stars, a Dallas Stars fan. Eric Lindquist, betting analyst, Stokastic.com, oddshopper.com. What's going on, Eric? How are you tonight?
Not much. It was a beautiful day to come off of yesterday's heartbreak, typical Minnesota game, 5-3 in the eighth, and Profar hits a 3-run jack in that eighth inning yesterday. But today was a different story, and to be on a Matt Wallner home run in addition to it, it was a great feeling. The lefty power is very, very real for that guy. Why Petco is playing so small this year of home runs too, I will never find out. But all I know is that it's showing up in the data, and we had ourselves some fun for once as a Minnesota sports contingent for sure. But North Stars, those were a long, long time ago.
Yeah, it's probably before your time.
No, he remembers those days. I mean, that's a thing. Those North Star jerseys are
three.
iconic.
Those are great days.
Yeah, that was fun.
Send me back there.
Before we get to tonight, are the Twins going to make the playoffs? The AL Central is really shaping up to be a really interesting division with the Guardians, the Twins, and the Royals. Like, if the season ended today, I think all three would be in. But are the Twins going to make the playoffs? First question. Second, what about the Royals?
Well, if Cleveland can keep playing against left-handed pitching, that would make me happy because I don't really like their lineup here at the moment. But there aren't enough left-handed pitchers for us because we bring 0 to the table as the Minnesota Twins. So every time we're going to be in division going up against Cleveland, they get to have the platoon with Ramirez, better side from the left, Naylor, left side, Bo Naylor as well, left side. It's just a better constructed lineup there. We're 3.5 back. Kansas City's 3.5 back. It's going to be extremely competitive. It's fun to see this division, which had been by far the worst in baseball for multiple years, kind of flip on its head here. Outside of the White Sox, who are abysmal, of course, Detroit's been at least competitive, 61-65 on the season. And then, Cleveland brings the bullpen. Stephen Vogt just utilizing just so many of his pieces, 4 days in a row out of that bullpen. And if he continues to do that, maybe there's some wear and tear down the end of it. But Emmanuel Clase is such a beast. You never want to be seeing him in late game scenarios ever. Right now, Cleveland should be massively favored there. I believe they're 94.5% chance to make the playoffs. Twins pretty heavy favorites to make the playoffs here as well, from what I'm looking at. But I will say I'm always, as a Minnesota sports fan, just on edge, not ready. I think it's probably what you feel knowing that Paul Skeens is about to be limited tomorrow. It's
he's done.
It never
That's
just
it.
feels right. It never feels right.
We got to get 20 more strikeouts out of him before he gets limited, so we don't even make that suggestion. Tampa Bay, Oakland starting in about a half hour. Any thoughts?
Yeah, this game is the far less appealing one between the two for me. You look at kind of what we've got with the starting pitching. I mean, it's an interesting one. I think tomorrow with Jeffrey Springs and Beto is going to be a little bit more fascinating. I do like the under of that one. Two starting pitchers. Beto continues to just put up quality start after quality start here. But for today's matchup, perfectly efficient across the board for me. Ryan Pepio, he'll be okay. Mitch Spence will probably be okay. Tampa Bay, we're seeing them strike out more and more as we're getting towards the end of the season. But ballpark should suppress runs here to some extent. I would be leaning under, but I have no play on it whatsoever. I'm much more interested in Seattle and the Dodgers. Just give me Dodger blue here all day.
Oh, that was going to be the follow-up question. Wetzel did a same-game parlay and actually took the Mariners tonight. Wasn't totally surprised, but, I mean, I love Gilbert. He's one of my favorite pitchers. Why you like Dodgers?
Yeah, Gilbert's interesting because he does a lot of really good things. Sub 5% walk rate, 6.8% barrel percentage, 282 xWOBA, across the board interesting. But when the ball gets hit hard, it tends to fly out a little bit more for him. Just looking at his exit velocity and the bat numbers up against him, I think this is just a fully operational Death Star now with the Dodgers. I mean, with Ohtani, Freeman, Lux, Muncy from the left side, Betts, Hernandez, Smith, and they end up losing Miguel Rojas out of this lineup. Now it's Kevin Kiermaier, another lefty in the 9-hole there. But the other guys from the right side, Tommy Edmonds, switch hitter. I just think 1 through 7, this team is just so stacked. And if Gavin Lux continues to hit the ball as hard as he's been, and Max Muncy, I mean, right out of the gate, boom, boom, no wear and tear, no question marks whatsoever. Taking guys yard in the first two since he returns off the IL. He was doing it in Oklahoma City. Everything sounded great from the AAA reports. And sure enough, he is just smashing. I like the over of this game. I like the run line here with the Dodgers. I think Gilbert is a fascinating pitcher. I think he's really, really solid. But the park downgrade from Seattle to Dodger Stadium cannot be emphasized enough. You give up fly ball contact in this park against this lineup, you're going to run into issues. So for me, I think that's kind of what it really boils down to.
All right, we'll get to the football in a second. If you could hold on for another segment, we want to talk some NFL. If not, fully understand. But let me throw this one at you, Eric. Logan Gilbert, right? They're giving a strikeout total of 5.5. The guy's had 6 strikeouts or more in 10 of his last 12 starts. Is that a sucker line, or why would that number be so low?
Well, you're looking at a number of the Los Angeles Dodgers bats at the top, specifically when you are projecting out strikeouts and you're going through plate attempts. Betts Freeman in the 2-3 hole. Shohei Ohtani, not terrible, but specifically Betts, sub 12% K rate. Freddie Freeman, 15.3% K rate, a little lower to righties getting the platoon. And then you get down there further where Muncy and Kiermaier and Edman are. Edman's never been a crazy strikeout bat, but Muncy and Kevin Kiermaier certainly have here. So you're basically seeing a number of the guys you're going to project out for 3 potential plate attempts in a game where he's lengthened out. It's just you're not running into free Ks by any means. When you don't have Seattle, which has been the number 1 ballpark over on Baseball Savant over a 3-year rolling average in terms of run suppression, you're going to Dodger Stadium, and it's a fully ridiculous lineup at this point in time. I don't know what else to say. So from a projection standpoint, looking at Betts and Freeman there with 3 plate attempts, hard to run into even 1, maybe 2 strikeouts out of those guys. So yeah, it feels like a pretty thin spot for me. Pretty efficient. I wouldn't call it a sucker play by any means. I would lean towards the over, but as I'm running everything here right now, just to stay away.
All right. Quick little break. We'll come back. We'll get some NFL thoughts, maybe some Sam Darnold props for the Vikings, and break down the NFC East here on the Grid.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to 1 shot. And
that's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, as we talk a little football now with our guest, Eric Lindquist. So I had a guy that I respect say that he absolutely, positively loved the under 7.5 Minnesota Vikings this year. Eric, you there in Minnesota, it's Sam Darnold as your starting quarterback, thanks to the injury to J.J. McCarthy. So where are Viking fans with this football team? And more importantly, where are you with this football team with the over-under?
I'm in a world of pain. I'm in the doldrums. I don't know what else to say. We used a first-round pick on J.J. McCarthy, a system quarterback at Michigan, who, Jim Harbaugh, say what you want. I think he's going to do decent enough things with Justin Herbert, but as much as I trust Kevin O'Connell to help us offensively be able to get Justin Jefferson spoon-fed the ball, we're missing Hawkinson at the start of this season. Defensively, we continue to have inefficiencies. We're trying to shore it up, getting Gilmore for 1 year, $10 million for a rental. I don't know why he chose Minnesota, but that should be fascinating to watch. I don't really love anything that we've done this offseason in any way, shape, or form outside of the Gilmore contract, which just went down. So I think that under of 7.5 is definitely the live side of it. I don't think I have the gumption to be able to go against my team. Plus, I like being in the will. I don't think my parents would allow me to be in it if I were to take this under. So pass. Thank you very much for asking.
I can't believe that he asked. I put on the listening glasses because I wanted to hide when he asked
No,
you
we were
that.
talking NFC East, and he comes in here with the Vikings 7.5. I love this under. Your team is terrible.
He did that right away, and we are supposed to be on the NFC East. So, you know, we had on Zinno earlier. He mentioned the Washington Commanders and said that they are going to be the surprise team of the division. Everybody knows that the same team doesn't win a division back-to-back years, so we throw out the Cowboys. It looks like the Eagles are the side, and nobody, even you, as good as you are, can't make a case for the Giants to be a good football team. Who's winning this division? Is it that easy, Eric? It's the Eagles or nothing.
It is not going to be the Eagles for me. I wouldn't be looking at them at this price. I have enough questions. I mean, we saw with the secondary. We saw defensively in that not championship game by any means, but we saw in that first playoff matchup against Tampa Bay just how inept they can be from time to time. And I like A.J. Brown. I like Devonta Smith. I like a lot of their skill positions players. Shout out Dallas Goedert, South Dakota State legend. But overall, it's so hard for me looking at the defensive side of the ball to say a lot of inspiring things about Philadelphia. They continue to get worse, continue to, have holdouts, have guys that don't want to be there in some capacity. And offensively, you're also losing Jason Kelce. And I know the tush push will still exist, will still be around, but might look a little bit different when you lose one of the best centers of all time who was still playing at an extremely high level at the end. So a lot of question marks that I still have on the Philadelphia side of things. Of course, Dallas would be the play for me, or Washington, I suppose, but got to get this shored up, Jerry Jones. You got to pay your guy his money. It is CeeDee Lamb season. Without him, Brandon Cooks is not a viable number one. You really don't want to be going down the totem pole there to the other pieces throughout that offense. Jake Ferguson, another South Dakota legend for what it's worth, but I feel as though this is a Cowboys or pass for me type market. Probably going to be a pass. I'm a little bit more intrigued by the NFC South, but I think that potentially shorting Atlanta, even with all these acquisitions they get on the defensive side of the ball, seems like a decent spot for me. But I really do think that it's more of an issue that I have with the pricing on Philly than it is for me wanting to back the Cowboys.
There's no way CD sits out some of the season, right? He's not going to miss that.
I would
paint
hope
checks.
not. Yeah, well, because you get to week one and you have Cowboys fans, the loudest fan base, aside from Philadelphia, they're psychopaths. But we're definitely looking at a Cowboys fandom that will be beating the drum as loud as humanly possible in Jerry Jones's ear. And he's just special. I mean, how many guys are going for over 1,700 receiving yards in an offense that truly had other pieces around still? Jake Ferguson, I think, has a big year here for the Dallas Cowboys. Whether Dak is that guy or not from what we've seen in the playoffs, I don't know. But there's no doubt that this is a team set up to succeed in the regular season as long as you have CeeDee Lamb playing at a high level.
30 seconds. NFC South winner. If it's not Atlanta, it's Tampa, isn't it? It can't be the
It
Saints.
is absolutely Tampa Bay for me. I love what they're doing. And also, we saw the camaraderie between the new offensive coordinator there and Baker Mayfield at his tail end in 2022 with LA. Got acquired for basically a rental for 4 weeks. And he showed out with Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell on the field with him. Was going back and watching some of those games to get an idea of what this offense could look like. And I think Tampa Bay is going to surprise some people. A healthy Chris Godwin, Mike Evans goes over 1,000 yards every single season. Offensively, they'll do enough. And defensively, getting Antoine Winfield shored up in that contract, big deal. Probably the most game-breaking play in the NFC South.
There you go, Eric Lindquist. Great job. We'll do it again soon.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup ball. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And that's a good point. And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan that believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, it's in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Joined now by a familiar face. Talk a little baseball, a little golf as well as we got the next round of the FedEx Cup starting this weekend. Dubsy is back in the fold. You heard him this past weekend. Hear him again tonight. What's going on, Dubs? Long time no speak.
Happy Wednesday night, boys. I'll tell you what, I was so excited opposite picks to catch up with you here on a hump day. They didn't tell me Sharapan was also going to be on the show, so it's a little awkward, but great to be back in the mix. PGA Tour, boys. Second event for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Doesn't get much better than this. A fantastic baseball. Obviously, the playoffs fast approaching. And my Dodgers out there this afternoon. So great to see you, gentlemen, including you, David. I'm still waiting for that fresh lid.
That's fine. Yeah, and I'm still waiting for you to text me back after your trip to Australia. You said you were going to call me or text me, and I know you're back in L.A. I see you on the FanDuel doing your thing. You and Megan, it's great. It's great to have you back. I got goosebumps when I heard you, and then it all went away when I saw you. So it's good to be here. All right, let's just get that out of the way. We got this golf. You got to explain this golf to people because they're down to 50, and I mean, every week Scotty Scheffler wins. So I know you got plus money peaches waiting for the people. This format is crazy. They're going to get it down to 30 next week, but just give the people a little something. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, just go easy on them.
But before I get the plus money peaches out and break down my tournament preview, I'm just going to address something. You're trying to say that I swerved you when I was down under. There's been a lot going on over the last couple of weeks. I mean, we had Ray Gunn, the Aussie breakdancer, make an absolute fool of the country. We've had the Hawk Tour girl doing her thing, and now we've got Caleb Williams getting set to throw down another season for the Chicago Bears out the window. So, excuse me, I've been a little distracted, but let's talk a little golf. BMW Championship, 50 golfers trying to become 30. It's a long golf course, 8,000 yards and some change. The longest we've ever played on the PGA Tour, but it's not going to be a test for these guys. We're playing it out to they already bomb it an absolute mile. And with no pressure, you can expect the big names to charge towards the top of this leaderboard. Scotty Scheffler, what a year he's putting together. He's the shortest on the board there at plus 300, closely followed by your two-time major winner, Xander Schauffele. But there's no value with the big names. There certainly is value middle of the run. And some of the flyers who are trying to punch their ticket to Eastlake next week, the guys who are between 50 and 30, it's a smaller field. Week by week on the PGA Tour, we're usually trying to handicap this thing with 150 other golfers. There's so much variance, and any guy teeing it up tomorrow here for the BMW Championship has a really good chance. So it's tough trying to fade against the likes of Scotty Scheffler or Xander Schauffele, but this is absolutely the week to do it. We are primed for a big number on a long golf course that we haven't been back to in over a decade.
I was going to say, Dubs, do a lot of these guys even care about winning this tournament versus just advancing on in the FedEx Cup?
Yeah, absolutely they do, Scott. Does the money count for more? I would say not. You know, the golfers are so old school. It's still very much about prestige. They want to win the 4 majors. They want to win the Players' Championship. They want to win the Tour Championship. But if they're signing up for this one, absolutely they do. And as you can see there, Scotty Scheffler, if you like Scotty Scheffler, the value's with that round 1 low score. You can get him at 9-1 as opposed to 3-1. But all these golfers are trending in the right direction. This is the business end where they're trying to prime their game up for a big spot. If you're looking to go against some of the big names, look towards the big hitters and a couple of golfers who maybe have a bit more experience playing at altitude. It's going to reward the shot makers. Look at strokes gained on approach. And for me, top of the board, Victor Hovland. It's been a trying season, to say the least, for the smiling Norwegian, but I do think he figured it out last week. It was a great run he put together there on Sunday. He plays his best golf at this time of year. In the short game, not so worried about it. The winning score is going to be 21, 22 under par. You can get Victor Hovland there at 22-1. So that's the shortest price I like coming in for tomorrow.
Dubsy, were you surprised by Matsuyama last week? I mean, that was a really impressive performance. And now that he won that, like, the price isn't really adjusted. The numbers are about the same as they would have been had he not won. And so, like, between him and Oberg, I'm looking at the board either for the outright winner or for the first-round leader and going, what about these guys? Like, those are good prices. I would look to maybe take a shot with. All the numbers are almost the same, 22-1, 22-1, 25-1. Anything plus money peaches down there?
Dave, I tell you what, Hideki Matsuyama has a really good chance of going back-to-back. This is a golfer who does it so understated. He's never overawed by the situation. That's why he's got a green jacket hanging in the cupboard there. And I tell you what stood out for me last week, this is after getting robbed. He got robbed earlier in the week, didn't have the coach, didn't have the caddy. It was like the last time I hung out with you there in Vegas, Sharapan. Suddenly, my wallet went out the window and I was doing the Aussie haka looking for the thing. So Hideki Matsuyama at 22-1, I think that's a really good price for first-round leader. Another player who just doesn't get the respect in the market, but he can absolutely hit it with the best of them, Wyndham Clark, and it's a bit of a home game here. No one knows Colorado golf more so than Wyndham Clark. He hits it a mile, strokes gained on approach. That's shown a lot of improvement. He's also top 15 in strokes gained putting. Wyndham Clark's obviously had success at the majors. He plays with a bit of a chip on the shoulder, and for a lot of the golfers who are maybe in the mix trying to vie to make it towards next week's Tour Championship, you can't be worried about just trying to advance. You want the golfers who are up and trying to win this thing outright. And for me, Wyndham Clark, he's at 33-1 on the board. I cannot figure out this number, given he's had 7 top 10s for the season. The cream will rise to the top. Wyndham Clark, he's got that pedigree and he's got that chip on the shoulder and a bit of local knowledge. That's going to go a long way, Davey.
All right, any long shots? So you said it, Dubs. This course is 8,100 yards. I mean, that's about 900 yards, almost 1,000 yards longer than most courses, right? You got 3 par 5s that are over 600 yards. So do we got any long shot hitters that maybe they'll kind of come out of the pack there and at least challenge?
Yeah, I think the Scotsman, Robert McIntyre, I feel like a common theme for a lot of my picks this week. These are the golfers who aren't getting a lot of buzz, a lot of expectation, but he's had 2 wins on the tour this season. You look at the stats at what he really thrives in, he's just okay. But when shot making and artistry and short game and grind and scramble will be rewarded, Robert McIntyre has to be on your list. He's sitting at 60-1 on the outright market. I absolutely love him for a top 20 finish. He's sitting at plus 120, and you say top 20. Well, he's only going to finish at the top half of this field, and you're going to cash that play at plus money. You look down the board for the long shots, and a lot of golfers trying to turn that recent form around, but maybe a little sprinkle play towards a golfer like Max Homa, who sits at 100-1 at the FanDuel Sportsbook. I mean, we know Max wants to take that next step in his career. The putting's been a little spotty, but that can turn around so quick for a professional golfer. If he gets off to a hot start there tomorrow, you'll be looking around saying, why did I not grab Max Homa amongst a smaller field on a golf course that none of them really know at 100-1?
Dubsy, I've kind of adopted and used a dog's breakfast in my vocabulary now every day. You've taught me some of these great Australian phrases. After your trip there in the summer and you're back and in business and you were talking about the breakdancing guy and all that other stuff, do you got anything like you could bring to the table? Like I always say Saturday night, because I know you work out leg day, Saturday night and different things like that, dog's breakfast. Give me something that I can take to the kids after the show and say, like, listen, Uncle Dubsy's back. He's back on the show. He said to say hello. Anything for the people? Like anything?
I mean, you know, you're probably doing a ray gun. That means you're making a fool of yourself. You could say, well, you know, I got a hot tour over the weekend. That's you know, on the betting side of things where we've taken a different meaning to it. That means you've come from nowhere and you've backed a long shot into the starting gate. That one's going to pick up a bit of steam. But no, nothing that stands out to me, Davey. It was a good time back in Australia. Good to be back here. Let's see if we can bring a winner home in the golf. There's plenty of great horse racing as well. We've got the Travers coming up this Saturday out there at Saratoga. So no days off. Dog days of summer. What's that? My Dodgers getting ready to win another title as well. What's not to like?
Ooh. Who's winning the Travers real quickly?
Torpedo Anna. Girl taking on the boys. Big upset going against history.
Bang!
Wow.
That's the way you come back. That's the way you come back. Good to see you, Dubsy.
Good to see you.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And that's a good point. And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a bad one. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan to believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
It's what champions do.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Thanks to Dubs Anderson. Dubs used to work here at SportsGrid, still does. You see him over at FanDuel TV all the time now, doing his horse racing and golf and everything else that he does. So back to the baseball board, Dave. We got a whole bunch of runs happening. I will say that from a day in which we had nothing but blowouts. It picked up a little bit. Arizona now 10-7 over Miami. Once trailing 6-3. Now he got 17 runs, so that flew obviously by the over and all the adjusted overs as well. They're threatening for a couple of more. Cincinnati pulling away from Toronto 10-6 as the Blue Jays have blown a 6-2 lead there. Got the Phillies trying to hold on. Bottom of the ninth. There you go. Leading Atlanta 3-2. You want to grab the Braves plus 450 on
no.
Yeah, that's kind of dopey. You know, they got the you could go conservative. I mean, I wouldn't, but maybe you would. How about over 5.5 and plus 290? This way, if the Braves tie at 3-3 and then lose, you already cashed your ticket. So you get a little discount from 420 on the Braves. I actually might do that. If I was going to do it, I think I would take over 5.5, hoping that the Braves score a run.
I don't even have the option. My books here have it turned off. So might be an East Coast thing, West Coast thing. So I have no total in that game. Football scores in Arizona and Miami, 10-7. You said 10-6 with the Reds and the Blue Jays. You see the Cardinals and the Brewers are tied up 2-2 now. Might be time to make a play on right? If you missed the Brewers play. The Cubs scored 2. You think they come back against the Tigers? I don't think so.
No.
No?
Put a fork in the Cubs. They're done.
Wow. Okay.
Oakland and Tampa Bay underway. Don't score bottom of the first. Okay, the Nerf
Under.
looking pretty good there.
Yeah,
Under
let's
looking
go
pretty
under,
good.
right? The Black Cloud. Let's start that. That's good.
They lowered that to 6.5 already. Half an inning of no runs, and they lowered it from 7.5 to 6.5.
And I'll tell you why.
Crazy. Why?
You can't make the total 6.5 pregame, but you really like the under. And if you have 7.5 like you have, and that was the number before, that's the Black Cloud play of the night for those of you that watch the show regularly or just joining us, the end of the first hour every day that Scott and I do the show together. Or it's
this week.
Right. So we do the Black Cloud play of the night. You can't wait to move it in game to 6.5 because like the first inning, no run is very likely. So rather than wait until the first inning is complete, you move it to 6.5 right away and try to maybe get somebody to bet it over. So the 7 is hard. That's the hardest number in baseball for an odds maker to move off of, or like you don't want to get middled on 7. 7-0, 6-1, 5-2, 4-3. Very, very likely. You'd be surprised how many games land on 7. So that's why you move it so quickly. You don't want any more under bets at 7.5.
Bobby Witt batting for the Royals. Boy, has this guy been on fire or what? Holy
Love
fudge.
that guy.
You talk
Love
about
that
like
guy.
if Kansas City accomplished anything this year, if they end up not winning the World Series, not maybe winning the division, maybe not even making the playoffs, right? If anything, they got themselves a ball player. You know, they got themselves this guy is like actually becoming like nationally known. You know, which is
no question.
You just think, well, what do you mean, Scott? I mean, but for the Royals, that's tough to do, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. But
he's good.
We're both really old enough to remember. We're both old enough to remember when the Royals had
those guys
prominent. Yeah, George Brett was like everybody. You know, that was the guy, and then they won World Series, and then in '85, Brett Saberhagen and different, guys. And then, listen, they were really good. And when they won in 2014, it was mostly Madison Bumgarner and carried them. But, they had some players. I don't know. This is fun. And for Kansas City fans, it's fun that he's a homegrown guy. And they're not letting him go. So, yeah, I want to see them make the playoffs. I think anything after making the playoffs is a bonus at this point. But they're going to be the team that goes over their season wins first, I think, as far as the positive way. I mean, the White Sox are already under.
White Sox.
They've clinched that. Yeah, and the Marlins are, I think, close to being like, you can't cash any other way except the under. So while
Here's
the
one
Braves
for you.
have 2 on and nobody out, or 2 on and 1 out now.
Ooh.
The Braves, pay attention.
Okay.
If you're likely to get.
If you're a Kansas City sports fan, right?
Mhm.
Kansas City sports fan, you don't have any hockey. Kansas City Royals, the NBA, they're gone. Or Kansas City Kings, whatever they were. Would you rather have another NFL Chiefs Super Bowl or a World Series? Like, how big is football? Yeah. No real college, right? Missouri.
Listen.
Who cares?
3 in a row. 3 in a row is forever.
First time
I would
ever.
normally have said baseball because, I mean, like a World Series, for me, it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me, but every season is nighttime in Pittsburgh for the Pirates. I'd say they don't win. I want to see one more, before whatever day I am not here anymore. I mean, I'm 54. I want to see another World Series. Royals fans would love to see another World Series. But 3 in a row in the NFL today with Mahomes, that's forever. That's a good question, Wetzel. We're going to have to do a poll.
What is your pecking order of all your favorite teams that you want to see win?
Oh, I mean, I want to see the Pirates win another World Series. I've seen multiple Stanley Cups. I've seen multiple Super Bowls for the Steelers. But I'm allowing myself to get excited about Penn State making the playoff. And if Penn State would win a national championship, that would be so much fun for me.
More than the
my
Pirates.
brothers and sisters. No, Pirates is number one. Number one baseball. Number one.
Okay.
Penn State's close, though.
Right.
Close. Yeah.
Mine would be
Salukis?
It's been a long time since the Dolphins. It's been a long, long time.
Oh,
I've seen
good
Boston
call.
Bruins, seen Celtics, seen Red Sox. Dolphins would be it.
One change in the legislature in Missouri is that this guy who's just totally against sports betting there is not going away.
This has been in progress since last fall. They got 300 and some thousand signatures. All they needed was 170, but those were all certified by local election boards. That had to be done by earlier this month. By tomorrow, the Secretary of State has to verify all those signatures.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Hey, let's say it comes down for Matt Kuchar in the FedEx Cup fall. Let's say he doesn't make a cut, and it comes down to one shot. And
That's a good point.
And he keeps his card for the top 125 because he did make the jump from, I think it was 113 to 103. So he made a 10-spot jump. So he's got, 17, or let's see, that was not good math. He's got about 20.
Not a math bot. The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
If the U.S. gets to a bad start and they're down or close, I may double down on the second quarter because I know that that's when Steve Kerr is going to want to either A, if it's close, open it up. If they're losing, you got to get the lead because you don't want teams like it was in South Sudan to believe that they can win.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, it is in-game live prime time here on the grid. Wrapping up shop with, I think, a final. I don't know. It's locked. My computer says it's locked. Philadelphia 3-2 over the Braves. You got a final there, Dave? Is it over?
Final. Final 3-2.
Phillies won.
Under the 5.5 in game, under the 7.5 pregame, under everything. Phillies win. That's a good win for the Phillies. They needed that after yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a really good baseball game. This looks like a playoff game to me. So put this one in the memory banks. If this ends up being a playoff matchup, again, it'll probably end up Nola Freed, just like it lined up today. So under.
Tell you, the Braves are just an absolute under machine. It is remarkable.
Yep.
It's hard to be that way, right? Because eventually they adjust lines, but for some goofy reason with this Braves team, they really, you still get a lot of 8.5, 9s. I mean, you don't get the 7.5 like you do with Seattle. So they are the number one under team in all of baseball. Now after tonight,
I was going to say it's a lack of adjustment. I think on the odds makers' parts in the bookmakers, because I'd be shading them under, especially at home. But when you play the Phillies, you go, maybe not. But a lefty against that Phillies lineup, man, they're lefty heavy. So I don't know. Sometimes you see numbers and you go, maybe that's wrong, and you back it and it wins. That's a good one.
Yeah, crazy. All right, we got Cardinals, Brewers, and Cardinals tied at 2. We got the A's 1-0. That Murphy did not hit as they got a run in the bottom of the first inning, so they're up 1-0 over Tampa Bay. I don't really play that market, so Kansas City 3-0 over the Royals. I have not checked on that as far as hits. I doubt that's a no hitter, but just to kind of take a peek and see. 4 hits. So our boy Johnny Cueto pitching tonight for the first time this season. For 2024 standards, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 6 1/3 innings, 84 pitches.
Okay.
Bad.
Not bad at all, Johnny.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yeah. Did you look at the board yet for tomorrow? Skeens Day tomorrow.
No.
I won't be here. I won't be here, but Paul Skeens Day tomorrow. Pittsburgh, favorite at home. It's as high as minus 150 in some places. They're playing the Reds. Lodolo, left-handed, on the hill. You going Buccos? You going K-prop over? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking just get me 8 strikeouts with this dude. They've been giving us 6.5 with him the last couple of starts. So
yeah,
here's the good news.
Is deep in the games.
Right. Well, here's the good news, and you're as big a Pirate fan as I know, right?
Yep.
Are you going to September 24th, 25th, and 26th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to a Pittsburgh-Milwaukee Brewers series? Probably not. Your season's going to be over.
In Pittsburgh?
Okay.
Are
you going to go out of your way in September to go see a series against the Nationals? You going to go out of your way to go see a series against the Miami Marlins?
No.
You're going to go out of your way to go see a series against Kansas City, but in Pittsburgh, do they really care about the Royals?
In Kansas City or in Pittsburgh? Oh.
These are all in Pittsburgh, rather.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think so.
Right? So that's the good news, though.
All
because
right.
those are the 4 series that they have at home in September. Washington, no one's going to that. Miami, no one's going to that. Kansas City, again, nobody. And then their last series after a long road trip is Milwaukee. So I say that's good news, Dave, because they got to be saying, listen, Wetzel's right. Unless we pitch Skeens, we're going to have 5,000 people. We're going to be like the Oakland A's. So maybe because their schedule sucks, they keep them in the rotation. Right?
I mean, we can only hope so, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're going to shut them down. Jackson Merrill is now the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year. Like, it's the betting markets are already moving. Like, he's the favorite.
Wow.
Good job, boys. See you later.
We'll be back on Friday.